from the new Thane Air Base.
We also received credible intelligence that Golden Temple is a prime target, which is a veritable symbol of nation's syncretic faith.
Instead of sending parliamentarians, we should be sending the family members of the martyrs or the victims' family or the survivors.
I said that they cannot decide the name. The party will decide the name.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening. Thank you for tuning in here to Newsnight. I'm Deepthi Sachdeva, and tonight there are explosive revelations. And these explosive revelations demand global attention right now, ladies and gentlemen. There has been a foiled Pakistani attack on the Golden Temple. Yes, you heard that right, the Golden Temple. And that clearly exposes Pakistan's very, very dangerous, nefarious designs. Yet, instead of a united Indian front, do you know what we have? We have a lot of political chaos that overshadows the government's 33-nation diplomatic outreach. Mamata Banerjee demands Yusuf Pathan's withdrawal from the delegation. The Congress is grappling with Shashi Tharoor's surprise leadership role. And the Supreme Court has branded a BJP MP minister, quote-unquote, a national shame. The Supreme Court has called this minister a national shame. So while our defense forces achieve historic victories inside Pakistan, fortifying India like an impregnable wall, domestic politics has fractured the nation. And we all must be worried. But the question we are asking, is this the time for political point scoring, or must India unite to counter this sinister Pakistan-China axis? Do remember, we here on Newsnight have spoken about this umpteen number of times, because that is the real, not the elephant, but the dragon in the room. Stay with us as we unpack those layers, and we will get our straight questions as always, and we'll also introduce a panel of guests. And we are wondering that at a point where the army has triumphed, why have the Netas of the country again and again failed us? Let's bring up first our straight questions, because this will help you understand what we are talking about and what is the conversation going to be centered around. Let me also introduce a panel of guests and say good evening to both Ashok Sajjanhar, who's a former diplomat, who's joining us on the broadcast, along with Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey, who's again, not just a very, very senior spokesperson when it comes to all of us, our forces. And a lot of this, he's also been very, very vociferous about what we all as a country should be doing. He's a decorated gentleman. Sir, thank you both for joining us. We are waiting for our political participants also to join us in just a moment. He's a PVSM, UVSM, AVSM and VSM. Thank you, sir, for your time as you connect with us on the show. Let's bring up our straight questions right now. These straight questions will help you understand why this conversation today is so important. Politics must wait till the enemy park is exposed globally. Should that even be a question? Should that be a statement of intent? This brings us to our naked straight question that's going to go up on your screens, and we read that, can Mamata Banerjee even justify Yusuf Pathan's exit? He's an MP. He was picked up to be a part of this all-party delegation, but Mamata Banerjee said no, he's not going to be a part of that delegation. Why? Why is she doing this? Then you also have a curious case of a Madhya Pradesh minister who's been pulled up by the Supreme Court multiple times. Quote unquote, he's been called a national shame. But why is he not sacked? Why is he still continuing? It's a question that we also want an answer to. This brings us to our fourth straight question. The park danger, ladies and gentlemen, is very much alive. That is also not supposed to be a question, but a statement. But do Netas even recognize this? Do they value the fact that you have our forces dealing with that danger day in and day out? This brings us to our fifth and our final straight question now. You're talking of a united India. Why is a united India today not the focus? Why are politicians putting their egos, their politics first? And what about the morale of our forces? Do they even think about this? Before I get the Netas on the panel, let's take this to both Ashok Sajjanar and Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey. Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey, to you, sir, and I'll also say good evening now to both R.P. Singh, who's a national spokesperson of the BJP, and Monojit Mandal, who is a political analyst. He does lean towards a Trinamool joining us. Lieutenant General Pandey, to you, sir, first. How do you see whatever you've seen vis-a-vis the politics and all the efforts that you've seen our forces putting in and all this diplomatic outreach by the government?
So, there comes a time to be united. There comes a time for political mileage. All your 5 questions actually lead up to this. I'm not a politician. But what I am surely, I'm a guy who served in uniform for 42 and a half years in one way or other and been exposed to the blood and gore which goes along with it. 10 years back, what we did in the front and what the politics did behind did not make much difference. But today, our soldiers, while they are managed, they are highly capable of not looking back what is happening, doesn't affect them much. But yet, there is a sign, there's a question which will come about when a couple of things happen. And I'll just very quickly wind up, I'll take a minute or two. Please understand that 16th April direction or the statement of the radical Asim Munir was towards the two communities, right? Hindus, Muslims, Pakistan, which was raised on Kalma, and the Bharat. That had a number of ramifications, internal division, communalism aspect, and yet when he goes out and gets the strike done for Pahalgam, it was a big statement to be made on ground when your religion is checked to carry out this activity. How it impacts the soldier on the ground. Now, when the questioning starts by political parties, or when they make not correct statements, this is the time you can pick up a telephone, keep it quiet, talk to each other.
Exactly.
Don't go into jingoism on either side of the left, right, center parties. I don't care. But the bottom line is that this is a time of information warfare. Right? We will lose this information warfare while we'll surely, I can assure you from the armed forces side, we will win the war on the ground. But if this part of information warfare, when you see questions from us, right, that you please come out, what were your losses? Why did you do X, Y, Z? What was the sequence of operation? When these things are questioned, the enemy is looking for an operational intelligence.
Exactly.
Right. So, what are the losses? Which airfield has been hit? What locations? What equipment was being used? There are a whole bouquet of stuff which he is actually looking at for developing his operational intelligence.
Yes.
Of Sindoor is on a pause button. It is not finished. Even if it gets finished, whenever it restarts, this intelligence will be with them right now, with them. So eventually, I think the DGMO said, don't ask too many questions. Allow this thing to come about. You will come to know everything about it. Right?
Absolutely.
One is that. The second is, whatever you make these negative statements are also used by the Pakistani media to shape the world mind and also to tell the forces that the rest of the country is possibly suspicious of them. This is a cyber warfare on.
Yes.
Psychological operations. So my only request to everybody on all, not only political parties, but to the entire country will be that you need to keep quiet, look about it, trust your forces, because every 24 hours, our representatives have come out and informed you what is happening.
Absolutely.
We can only inform in a war scenario, an operation scenario, in a conflict scenario, what can be informed. And the entire world is looking at questions, more details, because the enemy can be more empowered. So this mobile which is available has become a tool of PSY operations. And I will be only urging that just stay a little bit wise on the subject and don't get fractured because you want to score some brownie points of variety of natures at political levels.
I think, sir, you've made some fantastic points. Only for politicians hear that. That is most important because this is the voice of the country. The country today is saying this, Monojit. I really hope and pray that whether it is you, whether it is a Congress party, that is known for asking those questions. There is always a time and place to ask questions and a context, like you've just heard sir speaking. I also say good evening to Tara Kartau, who's a former director of the National Security Council Secretariat, who's been kind enough also to join us. And we'll keep our opening comments brief, about a minute each, so that we can take this ahead and take a lot more banter between all of us. And before I come to both RP Singh and Monojit, Ashok Sajjanhar sir, when you see and hear what has been happening, and there is also this interesting picture of the China-Pak tango, something that we've been speaking on Newsnight for the last few days. Why do you have the Pakistani deputy prime minister today in China? Is that not a question the world must also answer? And is that not a question that we also must be worried about?
Yeah, thank you very much, Deepti, for having me on the show. If you permit, just one comment on, the earlier discussion that the Lieutenant General responded to very effectively and comprehensively. And what I would say is that the nation has remained united. As far as the country is concerned, people, meaning that is what the Pakistani terrorists, that is what they had thought, that by killing the Hindus, that they would be able to sow communal discord between the people, and there would be communal riots, and there would be sort of, so much of anger. The country has stayed united. Kashmir has stayed united. They have come together. It's only we see our political leaders who are sort of, jumping the gun because, some of them, they find that, they don't have, or their relevance is decreasing or whatever it is. So I think it is the political parties and the leaders who need to be more mindful of looking at, as you said, the time and the place where we are when we ask these questions. Now, as far as your question is concerned in terms of, Deepti, can you tell me what was the question? I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yes, sir. I was asking about the China-Pak axis.
Yeah, China-Pak axis. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, the China-Pak axis, of course, Pakistan has it back to the wall. Pakistan has been put in a corner because neither in defense nor in offense were they able to achieve anything. And they were relying completely on the Chinese defense equipment. According to SIPRI, the Swedish-based research institute, more than 81% of the equipment by Pakistan, it comes from China. Earlier, it used to be, majority of that used to be from the United States, but United States has been replaced. And possibly, this is the first time that the Chinese equipment was being used in the war field. And they might have thought that, it would be able to acquit itself creditably. Far from it. They were not able to defend themselves. You see how Indian forces, how Indian equipment, how Indian firepower, whether it was missiles or drones or long-range weapons, we were able to completely demolish, the 9 terrorist strongholds and hideouts on the 7th May in the morning. And then when we came into our own on the 10th morning, then 11 of their airfields were completely destroyed. They couldn't stop anything that was coming from India. And whatever fake news and misrepresentation that they might have tried to spread, it was basically the satellite imagery which brought it out very clearly. Second is when they tried, as reports have come out that they tried to hit even the Darbar Sahib in Amritsar. Also some of the Gurdwara Sahibs in the forward areas, in the Punch area, some of the churches, and our military establishment. Not one of them was able to get through our air defense system. So I think the Chinese weaponry and equipment has had its, a bad day. And so the Deputy Prime Minister, as you said, the Foreign Minister, he has gone to China basically asking for more. So I think the final point I'd like to make here, Deepti, is that this is not the end of Operation Sindoor.
Yes.
More things are going to happen because number one, it is China also which has been humiliated because its weaponry has not served the purpose. So, it will also try to say that, their weaponry is of a very high order. And so I think it will try to equip and arm Pakistan in an even more lethal manner, so that maybe, going ahead 8 months, 10 months, 1 year,
Yes.
we might have a rerun of the same thing.
Yes, you're right. The Pak danger is still alive. And in fact, what the images we were looking at were of the Pak deputy Prime Minister who had landed in Beijing a little while earlier. And those were images again that have, images don't lie. These are pictures that don't lie, Ashok Sajanhar. And that's the reason why whenever we look at this, Tara, your 1 minute before I get in both Monojeet and RP Singh, because I know that they would be running out of patience because these are Netas. But the point is, you need to be patient when you look at these pictures. You need to realize that this is about a Team India. It's a Team India narrative versus Pakistan and the rest of the world, Tara. On one side, you have these images, and on the other side, you have this diplomatic outreach by India. And this tells you the difference in treatment when it comes to the issues by both these countries.
Absolutely, Deepthi. I mean, I've served in both Congress and BJP governments. That's to say that I have no political leanings here. But what we are seeing now, I'm sorry, is disgusting. And there is no other word for it. I can't believe that what our soldiers have been on the ground. They've endured so much. The least you can do is support them. I mean, what shall I say? The morale of a soldier comes from what's behind him also. The people who are backing him. So this kind of talk is ridiculous. In terms of the reach out to China, however, Pakistan, it does a sort of a copy paste of whatever we do. So we are sending out delegations, they are sending out delegations, right? And now I think Bilawal Bhutto is going to lead the charge. Shashi Tharoor is going to lead the charge. If you're going to go out and talk to people about what has been a vastly successful operation, you want to say all that, I think you need to come together on a common ground. You can't have this kind of bickering sends a very, very bad message outside. And the second part, as someone said, we've seen, and I've come on your show and I've said, be careful, there's going to be a huge dividing campaign in India. They're going to try and hive off, not just the Kashmiris.
Yes, I remember, Tara. And let's push that point a little further, because all of you have been sounding that. You've been warning these Netas, but why is it that Netas never get the message? And those two pictures in contrast, Monojeet, I hope you must have seen it. Now tell me something. Why should Mamata Banerjee, Monojeet, or the Trinamool have a problem with exposing Pakistan?
This is a too far-fetched conclusion that BJP and you would be always straying from our political stance. What is the point in sending Yusuf Pathan without consulting the Trinamool Congress?
So what is the problem in Yusuf Pathan? Tell me. He's a member of parliament, right?
He's barely 1 year old in the parliament.
So you have a problem with Yusuf Pathan. You have a problem with the fact that Mamata Banerjee was not consulted.
The problem is, the way you are picking the opposition leaders for the delegation. Did you consult the head of the party? Did you consult the parliamentary leader in the party? In fact, let me tell you, the leader of the All India Trinamool Congress, Mr. Abhishek Banerjee, he has a very novel suggestion. What in fact the politicians are going to do and expose the Pak terrorists? Why don't you send some of the family members of the martyrs who actually witnessed from very close angle the real brutal face of terror? Or it could have been a mix of both. A mix of both the politicians and the martyrs' family. Why did you send even some of the army men who are diplomatically so sound and conscious? What is the function of Mr. Junior Shinde? What does he understand about terrorism and Kashmir problem? Tell me.
Imagine, Monojeet, when I heard the Abhishek Banerjee response, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke. The fact that you want to tell us, Monojeet, wait. Monojeet, wait. Let me understand how the Trinamool thinks. No, Monojeet, wait. Are you saying the families who've lost their loved ones today should go from one country to the other exposing Pakistan? Is that the thinking of the Trinamool?
They should be accompanied by some senior politicians and diplomats, not someone like Mr. Junior Shinde, who has become a member of parliament barely a year ago, or someone like Yusuf Pathan, who has just entered the parliament, or Nishikant Dubey, Nishikant Dubey,
These are all member of parliament, Monaji. If you don't trust these member of parliament, why do you need a Yusuf Pathan there? If you're telling me that he's incapable of putting out the India message to the world, why should the Trinamool continue to have him as a member of parliament?
Question of experience. It's your intent of choosing such junior parliamentarian. It's a bad, sinister intent, and without consulting the party leader. Unilaterally, you have picked and chosen leaders from the opposition.
I will just give a 30-second rebut to Ashok Sajjanhar. He will tell us what he makes of this suggestion that has come in from the Trinamool, sir. 30 seconds.
Yeah, basically, all these people are very articulate. All these people are very eloquent. They have been given briefings today by the Ministry of External Affairs. The others will be given briefing in the other days. Basically, what are the points that you have to, every one of them is a concerned citizen of the country. Every one of them feels for the country. Every one of them can put the case as far as the country is concerned. They understand all of it very well, and you can't say that Mr. Owaisi or Supriya Sule or Shashi Tharoor, that they are novices, that they don't understand all these things. All of them do understand, because they are working for India, for the cause of India. So I don't think that is a very valid argument in my view. In my limited view, that is what I'm saying. That and in any case, the briefings, they are very thorough. The Foreign Secretary spoke with them today, and the other delegation will also be getting their briefing. They have been getting these briefings from the Foreign Secretary even before
If they are given an opportunity, I don't understand, Monojit, why should any Indian today shy away from that opportunity? Whether young, whether old, whether a member of parliament, an ordinary citizen, everyone today can expose Pakistan, Monojit. That is important. That is important for you also to know. I quickly want to get an RP Singh before we begin a second round of conversation, Monojit, and I come back to you. Just bear with me for a few seconds. I have to ask something of RP Singh. No, Monojit, please pull back. Much like you, I have a question to ask of RP Singh. RP Singh, why is this Madhya Pradesh minister, who the Supreme Court today has called a quote-unquote national shame, still continuing?
Well, the SIT has been found by the Supreme Court, and whatever the outcome of the SIT, the action will be taken according to that. I also accept that it was very shameful. His comments were not up to the mark, and let the court SIT decide on it, and we'll take the action accordingly.
Why do you need the court to tell us that what he said was crass? Na? You can anyway sack him from the party.
Can I complete? Since the matter is sub judice, so let the court take a call, and then accordingly the party will do the needful also. But coming to the issue of Golden Temple, which all are missing. 18 drones, one missile targeted at Golden Temple with a reason. Not to only hit Golden Temple, but to divide society. I mean, they tried their best whether it was Hindus and Muslims, and now they wanted this division to happen between Hindus and Sikhs. And then they were ploying that the message was already there in the social media of Pakistan, saying that Kartarpur will be hit by the Indian army, or Nankana Sahib will be hit by the Indian army. This message is already floating. Probably they could have done it on their own, and then they could have blamed it on the Indian army. Although today's world is the satellites which are there to tell you what exactly happened and which government or which state has done what. But the intention was that somehow do this and then hit the temple of humanity. I mean, Golden Temple is not a temple of six. Let me be very clear. It has 4 doors, and a door for each religion, each community, each caste, each creed also. So it's a temple of humanity. But it's shocking, and that they wanted to hit, and salute to the Indian Army that they saved the temple of humanity.
I think you're right, RP Singh Saab, on that. But, to say that just because a matter is sub judice, you can't take action, does not cut much ice. The point is, sir, that the country today is looking for answers. Whether it is from Monojit, whether it is from the BJP, we need answers. We do not need that MP Minister Vijay Shah, neither do we need Mamata Banerjee playing politics right now. 30 seconds to you.
They're two different things. They're two different things.
How is it different, sir? How is it different? Both are politics. Why can't you sack him?
Please,
When
please.
does Mamata Banerjee play politics?
Monojit, one by one. RP Singh goes first.
My name is
RP Singh
RP.
goes
Manjeet,
first.
I never interrupted. You are a very sensible professor.
RP Singh will go
So-
first, yes.
So, see, the issue is that the matter is sub judice here, and here the Mamata Banerjee is not allowing her member parliament to participate and take a lead and then represent the country. We can play politics otherwise. I'm open to whatever politics. After some time there will be elections in Bengal. We do a lot of politics here, but not on this subject. Here is a matter of pride for any member parliament to be picked by the government of India and he to represent the country on such occasion. And then as far as contention of taking the martyrs' family there, so they are in a situation of shock. I mean, let them take time to come out of that, and let's not put them under just pressure of going to various countries and try to express what they have faced.
Okay, Monojit, your 30 seconds.
It's BJP that is playing divisive politics, I tell you. The entire country stands united with the government when 22nd happened, 22nd April. But now it's BJP that is playing politics. Did they consult the political parties, respective political parties and their leaders before
representing the country?
Why means? Why means this is the
tomorrow they decide Manojit Mandal has to go. But do they need to take a approval from Mamata Banerjee?
No, please do not lecture. I do not interrupt you, right?
Okay, Monojit, complete your point. Yes.
This is your problem. The fact remains that the party should be consulted. The government side cannot take.
But you're making this about ego. I take your point, Monojit. You want Mamata Banerjee to be consulted. Mamata Banerjee must say yes or no. But don't make this about ego, no. Look at what is happening. This is Pakistan we are dealing with. We are all part of the same team.
You don't have to deal with Pakistan. The army will deal with Pakistan. Don't worry about that. You have done enough to divide.
You're telling this to the BJP?
You have done enough to divide the country. People remain united despite attempts from media to divide people communally after 22nd. That's because of all the political parties, including opposition.
No, Monojit, this is unfair. Monojit, this is unfair. Without the political will, if you're telling me that the military might is enough to deal with the Pakistan, I think you are equally wrong. Like RP Singh is wrong to tell us that because the matter is in the court, we can't take action against this Madhya Pradesh minister. Now I'm requesting both the Netas to pull back. I just have enough time to make way to listen into Lieutenant General DP Pandey and to Tara, who haven't spoken yet. Please. No, Monojit, please listen into others. Politics can wait. There is always time for politics. Lieutenant General DP Pandey, sir, what should India be prepared in the next few days? And considering the audacity of a Pakistan that is going back to the playbook, perhaps of the 80s and the 90s, to think it is that India, it is that Punjab, that you can try attacking the Golden Temple and provoke a situation. What should be the message now for Pakistan?
I think while we look at the disadvantages of social media, one major advantage comes about is that the divisive actions which are taken out for communalizing by Pakistan is possibly understood by us, and I think more often than not also by the Pakistanis themselves. Right, so there is an issue there within their own country as well. So that is one very, very good thing. The only thing is that we need to continue to prepare the questions which are being asked about exposing what technology which was used, how things happened about. If you think that operation is still continuing, I think we need to stay a little bit quiet about the way the organization has fought, armed forces have fought, right? And that is very important. And because any thing which is coming out of line or being questioned from the armed forces that did you lose this or did you lose that is a clear giveaway that you have got some sort of information which is not available to the general public.
Yes.
So, it is important that you need to keep your horses waiting. Yeah, there is enough time before the next elections are going to come.
Always,
so my more worry is that kindly let's focus on this aspect. I can assure, I think what Monojit ji has said is absolutely right.
Yes.
Armed forces will fight. We know that our country is with us. We are the number one respected organization in the country, not for any other reason, because they know
Yes,
that
and we all
there
are safe,
come what
Monajit. You
may.
must remember this, because the forces only think about the country, not about anyone's ego, not about whether you've sought someone's permission or not. That is when you begin to change the security paradigm of the country, Monajit. I don't have the time. Tara, apologies. I'm not able to come back to you for a second comment, but I'm thanking her and all gentlemen for joining us. Let's also quickly get you Newsnight's parting shot. Now, India's petty politics, ladies and gentlemen, rages on. But these are no ordinary times. With threats on all fronts and Pakistan-China shadow and the nexus looming, it is time for every citizen, party and leader to unite and act. Because the stakes are high. They are very, very high. Thank you for watching. Good night.